Welcome to my channel, Sheikh Hamdan Faz 3. Two parts of me. Story of a confused teenager losing urge and battling demons of addiction, from his own perspective. Ever wondered who the weaker sex is amongst humans? Physically beyond dispute it is largely the women. But it is this inherent nature of the more emotionally subtle, Seattle, vagabond attitude of men in life that renders them more vulnerable to the perils of a breakup. Breakup has become more of a cliché these days, a term more generalized than rationalized, more scandalous than catastrophe. But my case was different as I discovered a different part of me on the verge of breakup, a more sensitive, inconsolable, impractical and illogical me that was fighting against obvious defeat. 4 years back from this day, I was about the perfect school-goer. No, I was not the nerd who remained in oblivion. I had the most supportive parents, a goal to fulfill my aspirations in medicine while maintaining my wit in the respect of hardcore science rationalities like physics, was writing my poetry in full-fledged, playing my guitar for the school band and collaborating with one of my best friends ever on a band venture that was the center of all our musical aspirations since time immemorial. But yes, I was introverted. That was an issue I faced from the days when school was nothing more than playtime out of home to the real issues of the world and the time when I was struggling to find a person to share stress that was taking a toll on me. I had many friends, many of whom liked me, many praised my work, but no one to talk to in times of my jeopardy. Then I met her in the most unlikely ways possible. Yes, it was Facebook, where you are probably reading this today. Some night probably she read one of my writings right here and we became interested in each other. She was recuperating from a relationship that was on the verge of a destruction. Like a pack of dominoes, it was about to fall apart. Like many childhood sweethearts, they were together as long as any friends would. But in some places the stigma of relationship serves as that one drop of bitterness that kills the whole broth. Remember us becoming friends and me standing out to be with her. We were strangers in the convivial mob. We had different stories, but life had us on a point of intersection. I remember my introvert addict contributing to me never asking for her number, though we were frank to each other. And Facebook was my gateway to find solace with her, in her at the end of exacting days, and when her computer blew up beyond fix, stayed up a night to fix it without even knowing what was wrong. From her descriptions, this was the first time talked to her, and precisely remember the Palladium Trojan, a nightmare amongst technical geeks, came up as my guiding angel. I could barely talk to her on phone. I had never talked to a girl on phone at night. And kept it concise, talked like the Apple genius guy. Later on the messenger we had a laugh about it. And still more days passed and we headed towards out final exams of school life. She had issues with her mathematics curriculum and no one to fix the errand with so little time on the calendar. And she turned to me. I had already realized had feelings for her. I had not known much about love, but if it was desire to feel someone's presence all the time, if not physically, it was her. I told her on the outset was no good at maths, and I wasn't. Just precisely wanted to absorb parts of her life that made her stress out. Ironically, the role found no one to play in my life to that day. And to my shock she agreed. At that point of life I was a stranger, no more than the average guy she met on street, but the point of distinction was we knew all about each other, our moments of joy, our everyday fears, even the minuscule moments that made us cry. And yet she came. The first day saw her, I knew this was it. I didn't know crushes, relationships that my friends talked about but had read about the serious love. And somehow felt this was it. Saw her standing at Decuria. Scared to talk to her, I took refuge at Mangini's for a few moments to consolidate and pile up all my cojones to walk up to her. And then did. The rest of the day just flowed and don't remember much. The confluent breeze was flowing around on a scorching summer day. Was flying in my tracks, walking on water, my little world was painting red. She didn't stay long, but that day knew she will come back. A stretch forward to Valentine's Day, I was at my wit's end on what is to be done on that day. Never found it special really. And she was estranged by the childhood affection of her life. By that time she was at the most fragile part of her relationship. He was ignorant to her and she had given up. It was hard. She was falling apart apparently. She didn't let it show mostly but could feel it. But she had a lot of friends. She went away to spend time with them and forget about the world. Did something totally unlike me. I had retained her address from a meager informal conversation from the past. And I went on with it. With a bouquet and chocolates. Anyone who has been around Calcutta on Valentine's Day knows how tough it can be to cough up flowers on that day. Almost a threat to the florist to get my job done was my resort. She finally came, totally shocked at my arrival. I wished her happy Valentine's Day. Her eyes were shining like purple shards on the velvet sky. Didn't extend the conversation much and walked out with my strong suit of concise finesse. That night she later confided in me. She had fallen in love with me. The time moved on. At the climax of my school life we went on stage TTIS Fest, perhaps the biggest one for schools in my part of the world, and we made our presence felt. We made the top 3. And ended school life with a mark. Everybody was against the notion of a science student at the phase of career development to stand and deliver on stage, but after that event was getting isolated from the world. Was getting away from close friends, was becoming a stranger to my conventional world. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.